Tiffany, how are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Good, good. Thank you for coming on Entrepreneur Monday. It's been a while, and we've been trying to get together for a minute, and I'm excited to have you on. Tell the people who you are, what you do, and I want to jump right into it.
I'm Tiffany Jackson. I am a professor actually in the fashion industry. I teach at a college, but the main thing that we want to talk about today is I'm an
Yes.
author. I'm a children's author. I just finished
Yeah.
my first children's book, and I'm really excited about that.
I'm excited for you. I had a chance to read it while you were setting up and we're getting everything together, and I love it. It is called Brave Brown, and
Yes.
you've been working on this for some time. So give the people the background, the history of it before we jump into it. But I'm loving this book. I'm loving the illustration of it and everything about it. And I really want to push people to support it, be a part of your idea.
Well, thank you. Yes, I have two daughters that just graduated from college, and this
Okay.
book actually started when they were small. But life gets in the way, and things happen.
Right.
But I'm glad that I actually finished the book. The book started when they were young because there were not a lot of books and toys with Black characters on them. I have two
Good.
girls.
Right.
So in our family, my two girls, and then there were six other cousins about the same age. So rule of thumb was if you were out shopping and you came across a doll or a puzzle or a game or anything with the little Black girl on it, you would buy eight. And then
Right.
we would just dole them out amongst the cousins. So they would all, they would
That's
all
right.
have
Yeah. I'm
pink,
with you.
right?
Right.
So I was like, okay, I think I can solve this problem. So I started actually with the t-shirt line.
Okay.
I was selling the t-shirt line, and then people were buying it. And then people would also say, but who is she? Who is Brave Brown? Like, what does she do? What is she about? And I was
Right.
like, I didn't know how to answer that, but I never even thought about writing a book. It never
Cross
entered
your
my
mind.
radar.
Right.
Right. Yeah. And people kept asking. I kept selling things. I was selling book bags and all kind of cute stuff. And then my aunt finally said, you need to write a book. And I was like, oh, okay, a book. So yeah, it did start some time ago, and I worked off and on. And I even have students from 15 years ago that come in and say, hey, Miss Jackson, did you finish that book? Where's your book? So now
Wow.
I can tell them I'm done.
Right, right. The book at first, let me start off with just from a marketing standpoint for me doing marketing and social media, the colors stand out right away.
Yeah.
And those colors are very, you can kind of see the ring light in it, but these colors are very bright and vibrant. So that in itself attracts you to the book. And then you look at the illustration and the pictures of it, and that is saying, okay, I haven't seen anybody with Afro puffs since the Lady of Rage on Death Row. I rock rough and tough with my Afro puffs. I haven't seen anybody like that. So the creativity in that with her dog is just wonderful, and that is an attraction to one, like you just said, for women of or children of color to be
Yeah,
attracted to it because they can see themselves in this book, in
exactly.
addition to wanting to open it up and see what it's all about.
Yes, because everyone wants to be represented. Our children want to read books and play with toys, with images that look like them and
Right,
celebrate who they are. We
right.
don't always want to look at somebody else's journey. We want to have our own stories. So I just think that it's important to offer children that, because our children need to know that they are worthy of representation.
Right.
So in order to do that, we actually have to represent them. So
And not only that, as you make that point, representation of something that's relatable, right? We can go and see Wakanda Forever and Black Panther and all these other superhero movies, but we know that that's fiction, even though we love that character. This
yeah,
right here is someone that you put in the book, and we'll get into that. But these characters in the book are relatable. So,
yeah,
I have a daughter, so my daughter being young can relate to this. Even as an older age, which in the book she can relate to this. Everybody else's young daughter can relate. And I think that that's grand in the bigger scheme of things because you make it relatable for people who are coming up and have young children. Now, tell me about the idea. The words and the concept are good. How did you come up with that? Is that based on your own girls, or is that something you just had on your own childhood? Where'd you get those ideas from?
she's actually a combination of my two girls and myself. One of the very early things that happened when I was doing the t-shirt line, a lot of the mothers said that their daughters would never take it off because they felt like it was them. They thought it was them when they were putting on the shirt. So I was like,
Okay.
okay, that's exactly what we want. And I feel like every mother who looks like that and who looks at the book also sees themselves as a young
Right.
kid, because we all wore Afro puffs. I mean,
Absolutely.
you can see yourself within her character. And her character, she's actually kind of shy. She's 5-year-old. She has a little dog that follows her everywhere.
Right.
But in this story, she's scared of the dark. And I think that that is something that a lot of young people struggle with. I know I struggled with it. I slept with the nightlight for I don't know how long. And I know that both of my girls struggled with that. And anything to make the nighttime routine for a parent easier, I'm
Definitely
all,
helps.
I'm all
Right.
about that. You know, when it's time to put the kids down and that 15 minutes turns into 30 minutes, then
Right.
45 minutes, you
That's right.
know how that happens. So
Yes.
I wanted to do something that was relatable, that children are actually going through, and then give them real ways to deal with and to solve those problems.
I'm not going to reveal all of her superpowers or her superpower,
Wow.
but I like the fact that Brave Brown's mom isn't a single mom. That is important because a lot of books that we see, or a lot of commercials that we see, or a lot of different things that we see as far as film and media, the mother's by herself, or it's the stereotype of the father raising the daughter. It's very rare we see them both together. That in itself makes a big difference. And then you have the grandma there, because we always love our grandmother. You gotta have Big Mama in the house, and
Yes.
Big Mama's there to help her, inclusive of the dog. And I don't know what it is about dogs, but all children, all adults love dogs.
Yes.
And the fact that the dog is there, so you made inclusive the entire family. That's relatable to not just Brave Brown, but to the book in general, to where a parent would want to read this to their child. Hell, a parent may sit back and read it themselves just to be a part of it. And then let me get to the back, because I had a chance to read it. But this part, can they see this part? I love that, because now you can create your own superhero. If this wasn't the only book, I would have drew my face on here, just so you know. But I know this is the only copy until you get more. I didn't want to mess the book up. But I love that part where you ask, what is your superpower? And that superpower gives a child the imagination to become whatever they want. And now, because of where we are culturally, you can become the president. You don't have to just be a rapper or actor, a musician, or a sportsman. You could be more than that. Attorney, the attorney general, the president. You can be a doctor, and you can put yourself in this place as the superpower. And I'm glad you did that.
Yeah, I think it's important. We all have superpowers. Your
Right.
superpower is what makes you unique. It's what makes you you. And once you learn to identify your gifts or your superpowers, then you can actually use them. I can't stop time. I can't become invisible, but I can be creative. So for me, creativity is my superpower. It allows me to write books like this, make up interesting characters. It allows me to teach from a different perspective. So your superpowers are your strengths and your individuality. So that should be shared with the world.
That should be.
You own. Yeah, that makes you you. And then as far as the characters, my grandmother was very important to me.
Yes.
And whenever she would visit, the whole house would smell like Dial soap and White Shoulders perfume as soon as the door opened.
I love it.
Her presence was a big deal, and I wanted to include that in the book because she was a very special person.
Right.
And in our homes, a lot of our grandparents live with the family, and they're the ones that pick up the kids and drop them off and, take care of the children while the mom and dad are working. So in this book, the mom and dad work. Right. It's a real book. They have real bills and a mortgage and all, all the things to go, with that. They're trying to save for college and do all the things, know? So the grandmother is the one who kind of works with Ari. Ari is her name, and gets her ready for school and is there to take care of her. And she's kind of the go-to person for Ari.
Right. And you can see that Ari not only has a connection with her father in the book, but she also loves her grandmother. And speaking of that, the grandmothers teach us so much wisdom. In addition to the parents, they have a deeper wisdom because, hell, they raised our parents. Yes. So they're giving us more than what the parents are giving, and they're showing us a different way. And Ari's grandmother did that a little bit different than what the father did to help her to get to that point. And you can see that, okay, the dad was very happy and helped out, but now you have the grandmother who kind of surpasses the dad in knowledge, but still loves her son, obviously, or the mother, whoever grandmother it is. And Ari said, okay, I got this. Now I'm ready to go ahead and go a little bit further. And then when Ari wakes up, the grandmother's combing her hair to help her again and says, you know what? Great job. I love you. Let's go ahead and keep it moving.
Yeah. And, in this story, Ari's dad is her hero. Like
Right.
that's her guy. And they bond over story time at night, like my girls did. It's time to go to bed, pick a book. And, the dad sits down and reads the book. That is their time that they share together. And then they had that one particular book that they like to read over and over and over again. But he is a huge, he's a huge influence in her life, in her upbringing, in the way she sees things.
And
so
go ahead, I'm sorry.
No, I was just saying, so that was important to me to show all of the family interacting.
Right. And that's important also from the standpoint of fathers being present in their daughters' lives.
Yeah.
And that makes a big difference culturally today, because you hear so many things on social media. Oh, you have daddy issues, and you have this issue, you have this issue. But when that father is present, it makes a humongous difference. And I'm glad you highlighted that in the book as well. Now, I don't have the
total daddy's girl.
That's right. Yeah. I don't have the number of pages in here, but it's not a long book for anyone who wants to read it by any stint. It's not a long book. And let me just show something. I'm not going to go deep into it because I want to keep some parts of it a surprise. But just starting off here, you can see the illustration of Ari's father sitting on the edge of the bed reading her a book, and she has that bun looking like a Black Princess Leia, looking real good right there. And then we go to the next picture. I mean, it just gives a detailed illustration of step by step of not only how affectionate and caring the father is, but the process that Ari's going through in this story.
Yes. And if you can show the first page, please.
First page, absolutely. Wait, which one?
The very first
this one right here?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
So when the book starts, she's calling for her dad because she's scared and she can't go to sleep. So that just again shows you how when she's in trouble, she looks for her dad to come in and to save her. So she really is connected to her mom, her dad, and her grandmother, and of course her dog.
Let me show a picture of the grandmother if you don't mind.
Yeah, my artists, I had 2 artists work on this. And Bob Noonan did all of the illustrations by hand, and his work is it's amazing because it's just so real.
Yeah, it's phenomenal. So they did this all by hand?
Well, he did the work by hand, and then my second artist, Isaac Walker, he came in and put in all of the color and shadowing with the computer. So it was a 2-part process.
Okay.
I learned a lot doing this. I started this a long time ago when it was really hard to find an artist that would allow me to purchase their work outright. It's different now because you go on Fiverr and all of these places, people will, allow you to buy artwork, but that wasn't the case when I started. But Bob really believed in the story, and he wanted me to be able to do the book. So
wonderful.
Worked out an agreement, and then Isaac came along and put his stamp on it, and then you've got this beautiful artwork that just literally leaps off the page. No, and that's the comment I get a lot is the artwork is amazing. Yeah.
It truly is. I want to show a picture of the grandmother because even the silhouette of the grandmama, any holiday special, any movie of Big Mama, you have this down to the T. This is the best silhouette. I'm gonna go to this next page where you can really see her because she got the gown on, the hair. I mean, you did the most. The accuracy of this is just impeccable. I'm trying to get it for the camera. There we go. It's impeccable. And the artist and the way the artist and you put it all together, it is A1, and it couldn't have been done better.
Thank you.
Very much so. Very much so. Now, I keep repeating. I don't want to get into it, but the imagination that we have as children it goes into infinity. We can imagine a lot of things. And now with social media, multiply that by 100,000 because you have this phone and you can see anything on the planet, where we used to have to look at books and other avenues is right there in front of you. Mm-hmm. And the fact that the grandmother can comfort Ari in this process and wanting to sleep, seeing different things is just really good. And I think that's something that you can build on. And what brought you to that point to help her in that process?
I really wanted to give her a power that was real. Okay. I didn't want to just make a cute story about a superhero. When I started this book, I was doing a marketplace, and a little girl came up to the booth and she was staring at the character, and I was watching her, and then she looked at me and she said, "How can I become a Supergirl?" And I was like, "Whoa." I it hadn't even crossed my mind at that point. There was no book.
Right.
And when she said that, I thought, oh, well, this can be even bigger and better than I thought, because if I can give children actual tools, real tools,
Right.
that they can use to help them, solve problems and feel confident and have pride, that's much bigger and better than selling a t-shirt with just a cute little girl on there.
True.
So yeah, I want them to walk away with some skills, some life skills, right? That they can use forever. So that is the ultimate goal at this point. They see the cute superhero, they identify with her, but more importantly, she teaches them how they can also tap into their own superpowers so that they can solve problems.
Now, where would you like to take the book from here? Because there's so many possibilities with like you stated before, you had the t-shirt, the book bag, things like that. Now you have a combination where you could put all of it together, t-shirt, book, basically the merchandise and the book together. You can go into illustration, cartoons, movies. Where do you see it going? As you should. I love it.
I'm open. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. You never know what's going to happen, and you never know who's watching or paying attention to you. This is the first story. There's 2 more after this. Okay. I'm also going to be introducing a boy superhero, because we need our boy. And he's really cute, but he's not copyrighted yet, so I can't share. That'll be the next interview. But yeah, it's going to keep going. So I'm going to have the merch. This is the first in a book series of 3. But before I do the other 2 books on Brave Brown, I will be introducing the boy character.
Okay, good deal. Now, when will this be available? What is the cost? How can we get all of America and the country to purchase and support this book? Yes, give us all the info.
Okay, the book will be available for pre-sale at the end of the month. Okay. And we will be launching prior to Black Friday. And you can find me on Instagram at It's Brave Brown. Okay. And the website is called allaboutbrown.com. Gotcha. So pre-orders will start pretty quickly.
Okay.
So
now is
that book for the holidays.
Is the site up for pre-orders, or that's coming soon?
Site will be up for pre-order by tomorrow.
By tomorrow. So what we'll do is, since we are in this today, I'll make sure that we put the link for your Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, whatever social media platforms we have. We'll have the link for it, in addition to the website link, so people can click on and they can go ahead and start pre-ordering and purchasing.
Yes.
Perfect. And then when are you coming back with the merch?
Merch will also be available before Black Friday. I'm just starting out slow this time. Right. There will be a t-shirt. Okay. We're working on a pillowcase and a Brave Brown burst, which is a little body spray for the little girls. So
wonderful.
He is going to have some merch so that you can stuff those stockings and do all that Santa stuff for the holidays.
And can we get a package with the book and all the merch together also? Can you design something like that?
Absolutely. I'm working on that. The book is $24.99. One of the issues that came up when I did my focus group was the cost. And I did have to explain that we're not printing in China. Right. And it is self-published. So yes, it is a little more pricey than if you were to go to a Barnes and Noble and a Target where they are, printing offshore. But it's an opportunity for you to buy a beautiful illustrated book. And there is that activity in the back where your child can actually design their own superhero. So
not only that, when you have something of value, such as this book, people will pay more for it. Right. That's the difference of people going to buy a brand name belt or shoes or car.
Exactly.
Except instead of a regular belt, shoes, or car. This is something of value that will last. It's a hardcover, so it's going to last a long time. What I think we should do is maybe we could do a couple of them. When I buy my book, I'm gonna need mine signed. All right.
Yes,
I'm gonna need a signature. I'm gonna need a signature in here. And I think that $24.99 is not going to be a problem for someone who wants to continue the culture of their child in the long term. When this book, they can get it when they're 5 or 6, and they'll still have it when they're 12 or 15, or they can pass it down to someone else. So this is an investment. To anyone who's saying $24 is expensive, no, this is not. You spend $24 in a week at Starbucks. This is an investment for your child and your brain. So get over that number. Let's support it, and let's buy this book.
Yes, and I also want to mention I'm working on a cape kit where you can actually make your own cape.
Wonderful.
Put your name on it. So your child will be able to do that as well. And it will be available on the website.
Yes, and we can use that year round. We don't have to just wait for Halloween. Because I'm
Yep.
gonna need an extra large cake. So when I'm flying around and I'm doing my thing, people can see it. So that's gonna be important because I want to be a part of that as well.
Okay, I got you.
Okay, good deal. Well, I appreciate your time, and I want everybody to go out and support this book today when they watch this episode. I am going to do like I did a friend of mine's book. I'm going to buy maybe about 12 or 15 copies. We'll give some out, and we'll just help, and we'll push it your way to make sure that we get this turned into a series and a movie and everything else that you want.
Thank you so much.
No, it's my pleasure. Thank you for coming on Entrepreneur Monday, and we'll talk for part 2 when you have the next book series. We'll do 3 parts. The next one when it comes out, and the next one, and we're going to cover all 3 for you.
Okay, thank you.
Good deal. All right, thank you. All right, we'll talk soon. Have a good one. All right.